Hi Bookworms, welcome back to another Spooktube video. If you don't know, throughout October I'm uploading a video per week and each one is about my favorite horror novels. And today I will be talking about The Perfume, or Story of a Murder by German author Patrick Süskind. The novel takes place in 18th century France and follows our titular murderer, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. He was born to poverty and lovelessness, being an orphan in such awful times. He also seems to disgust everyone who meets him, from his wet nurse when he was a baby to the orphanage manager and the other kids. But from a young age, Grenouille shows an amazing, almost superhuman talent, his incredible sense of smell. As he grows up, he goes into the obvious perfumery business and decides to create the most wonderful smell of all, the scent of a woman. Not to be confused with the Al Pacino film. But as he soon finds out, the best way to extract the smell from women is to kill them. Honestly, this plot synopsis does not do justice to the novel because there is so much that can be said about it. The book is dark, but also I feel a lot more profound than what people think. I'll talk more about it soon, but it will be difficult without getting into spoilers. But this is one of the darkest, most depraved books that I've ever read. It opens with describing the scene, the streets, especially the smells. And there's something about this opening from the first pages describing the stench of disease, unsanitary conditions, and bodily fluids that resonate with me from the first time I read this book almost 20 years ago, and it still gives me the creeps. Just the setting of filth and the thought of living in such conditions are enough to give me goosebumps throughout the entire reading. Now, as you can probably guess, this book isn't scary like a ghost story is. Instead, it has a very dark atmosphere. It makes you think of how foul human beings can be, about how there is no point of life because we all die eventually. It's a lot more of an existential horror, which is definitely more relatable in a way than, say, monsters and demons. I really love existential horror. But I still feel that me describing this book doesn't do it justice, and it's partially because one of the greatest things about it is Süskind's superb writing. I already told you how he describes the atmosphere in the opening scene, and throughout the book you really get this immersed in the life of the 18th century France. But his clever writing isn't only apparent in the descriptions. This book is creepy, it's dark, but it's also a little funny. It's definitely cynical. It has a lot of very dark sense of humor. Even the very ending of this book, which I obviously won't tell you about it, it's so strange until you realize it's actually very ironic in a dark, funny kind of a way. There is a lot one can say about The Perfume. There are also many notions and ideas here, like how someone so ugly can create something so beautiful. The question of nature versus nurture. Would Grenouille have turned into a good person with the right education? Grenouille, as I mentioned, revolts everyone who meets him, but his amazing ability to create sensational perfumes make people lust after him. What does that mean? That we as a society would forgive even a murderer and follow a depraved human being because it creates something so famously successful? If you read the book, I really love your opinion about the message behind The Perfume, but be careful about spoilers in the comment section, please. But nothing except the Grenouille perfume is without sin, so I will say that with all the positives, I do warn you that you do need some patience with this book. At times, Grenouille goes into long paragraphs of inner monologues explaining his plans or the science of making perfumes. It's interesting, but at times it can slow down the pacing of the book. It's not as bad as, say, The Picture of Dorian Gray, where in the middle of the plot he wastes about 2 pages describing his rock collection, but it does ask you to endure a little bit of mad inner monologue. But despite the fact that this book can be deeply analyzed, I think I will stop here. Hopefully I got you curious about this book, which similarly to last week's book, it was recommended to me by my mother, so thanks, Mom! Again, if you have an interesting notion about this book's message, feel free to write it in the comment section. Just don't spoil the ending for everyone who haven't read it yet. So guys, that's it for my video. I really hope you liked this one, and if you did, please don't forget to click the like button to show your support, and also subscribe to my channel if you dare. And also write down in the comment section what is your favorite horror novel. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.